Sticking on the topic of Netflix, of course, Warner Brothers Discovery is currently up for sale and they're taking bids. We knew in the first round of bids, 3 potential suitors came a-calling. One of them was Paramount. They put in a bid. One of them was NBC Universal Comcast. They put in a bid. And Netflix was the surprise. I mean, if you went back and asked several months ago, not lately, but was the surprise third bidder. And listen, Netflix is dead serious about this because now they're on the round of second bids. And according to the stories like this one, Warner Bros. Discovery, their new bid is mostly all cash. Now, a lot of times bids will be a whole accounting backflips and somersaults and twister games of movie. Well, this much will be in debt consolidation. This much will be in shares. This portion will be in cash. Netflix is coming out and saying, cash, we'll just give you a lot of money. We'll just give you a lot of money. And by the way, according to other reports coming out of Wall Street, there are now reports from insiders saying that the board of Warner Brothers is really warming up to the Netflix idea. And one of the reasons why is according to Gaspario's tweet, Warner Brothers likes Netflix offer for a lot of reasons, including the chemistry between David Zaslav and Sarandos, the head of Netflix, which kind of implies this might be light confirmation of what we heard before, that Netflix may indeed be planning on letting Warner Brothers just continue to run as Warner Brothers and continue to put their movies out in theaters. Listen, I'm on record saying that out of all the options, the one I hate most is Netflix getting them.
Yeah.
But I will soften my position on that if Netflix commits that Warner Brothers continues to put out theatrical films. If they do, then I feel a little bit differently about it. Here's the other interesting thing about the Netflix bid. It will face, I think, less FCC scrutiny than, say, something like NBC Universal Comcast. Why? Because Netflix isn't a movie studio. They currently don't put out theatrical films. This would not be a monopoly of anything because they're not even in the theatrical film business. Yeah. It would, now, I'm not saying that automatically means anything, okay? I'm not. But I'm saying when you're looking at something like NBC Universal Comcast, while they may be able to get over the hurdles, one of the hurdles they're going to have to face is, hey, is this creating more of a monopoly? You're already a giant movie studio with Universal. Now you're absorbing in another giant movie studio with Warner Brothers. That could become an issue, maybe, but it really wouldn't be one for Netflix. And at least the theatrical part of it, the HBO Max part could raise some eyebrows, but not the theatrical. So, Rob, I've talked to a couple of people this week, very offhand, who are kind of insiders in the business, who are starting to believe that Netflix may indeed be the front runner now to end up winning the bid with Warner Brothers. I thought it was really interesting when we heard that Netflix was interested. I must confess, I never really gave them a serious chance. But it's starting to look like they might be the ones that the Warner Brothers board decides to go for. Anyway, a lot of information here, Rob. Cash offer, that the board is warming up to Netflix, the idea that it sounds like they're very interested in Zaslav working with Sandro, all that kind of stuff. What are you taking away from this?
Well, cash talks. And look, for me, I love movies. I love Warner Brothers. It was one of the first real jobs I had was working directly for the head of physical production at Warner Brothers. I love the studio. I love its legacy. I love its 100-year rich history of making movies. I love HBO. I would like to see Warner Brothers maintain some kind of autonomy. And if Warner Brothers buys it, but they keep it intact, I understand Warner Brothers would probably, Netflix would eliminate HBO. That would probably go by the wayside. And I think, I don't necessarily trust Netflix executives to know. There is a level of expertise at the studio level that I don't think any of the streamers quite live up to. The movies at Disney, that Universal, that the studios make, the people that come from the studio world make, they've had a longer experience making product. And I think that if a streamer like Netflix suddenly takes over a movie studio, it'll be interesting to see if they're able to sustain the quality of product.
It depends if they maintain the
That's what I think. I would hope that,
right?
I'm hoping they do. Although, who knows? We'll see. But if Netflix is going to make a cash offer, it really comes down to who's going to give them the most money.
Yeah.
And Netflix has a lot of money.
They have all the monies.
So does Comcast, though. I mean, they got a lot of, but Netflix has a lot of money. And if they want to make that cash offer, I don't think it's a bad. I mean, if Netflix became the repository of all Warner Brothers product, I mean, again, I think back to what Warner Archive is doing, and they're going back into their rich history, and they're giving us they're remastering all these films from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and 60s, 70s. They're doing great stuff, and Netflix would benefit from that, and they would actually exploit all that stuff in a great way. So, I mean, it's not like HBO isn't doing that now, but. Look, that's all I want to see. I want to continue to get great movies and great product for the rest of my life. And anybody that's going to facilitate that, that's who I want to have happen. But the reality is, it's always money.
Yeah. But again, I loathe the idea of Netflix getting them. But if like this kind of report holds water, that one of the things that Warner Brothers likes about the Netflix bid is that apparently it contains some kind of structure that David Zaslav continues to run Warner Brothers. And David Zaslav is going to keep DeLuca and Abdi.
Well, yeah.
And David Zaslav is going to keep James Gunn. And David Zaslav is going to keep his infrastructure. If that's the case, and it's a big if, then again, I soften on the idea of Netflix.
Yeah, I do too.
Look, I think there are pros and cons for Paramount getting them. I think there's some really interesting pros with Paramount getting them, some cons. I think there's some really interesting pros with NBC Universal getting them, some cons. And if Netflix keeps the studio intact, I could see some real pros there too. I mean, and for Warner Brothers, or for Netflix, I should say, I mean, what a windfall. Now you get like Warner Brothers, one of the most historic studios in the history of Hollywood, and all their movies, you know where they're going to end up? They're going to end up on Netflix.
Right.
They become Netflix exclusives after they have their theatrical runs. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Aura. Guys, if you are anything like me, you swear every year you're going to be on top of your Christmas shopping, and then suddenly it's December 20th, the shelves are empty, and you're standing around in Target asking yourself, does my aunt even like candles? But this year, I am not doing that because of Aura Frames. It's completely saved me. See, I always struggled with what to get people in my life, but this year I'm going to give out a couple of Aura Frames, and it's hands down the most personal, meaningful gift that I can possibly give. And here's the best part. Aura lets you upload unlimited photos and videos. Plus, the frame comes in a premium gift box with no price tag, so it feels like a classy, well thought out gift, even if you bought it last minute. Guys, you can't gift wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. So for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code CAMPEA at the checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code Campea. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in on time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning that we sent you at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Anyway, there's a lot of moving pieces here. We still don't know how this is all going to shake out. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? It sounds like Netflix is a much more serious player in all this than maybe we thought. They have some pros going for them. Whatever you think about this whole thing, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.